Hey guys, what's up? It's Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with the December Q&A prompt. I have got to say the final one for 2019 is a really good one. This will be a multi-part series. Lots of good questions, so let's get right to the action. We're going to start with the newest to oldest on this one to kind of change it up a little bit. Cornelius A kicks it off with three questions. Have you ever seen a UPC 41-8W? I have actually not. I will give you a fun fact that the UP and the ATSF were the only customers of them. I don't know what numbers the UPs were, but the ATSFs were the 900 series, which they were the locomotive that was least talked about. So that's a good question. Fanta or Crush? I've had variants of the both, but I love Orange Crush. Fanta's pretty good, but nothing beats Orange Crush. EMP or JB Hunt, I like both of them. So thank you, sir, for your question. That's a new user, by the way. Thank you for coming. I hope to see you again soon. Oh, yes, my main man, Steve Weeby BB channel comes in with just a few questions. Thoughts on the new CP Heritage units? They're decent. I like the 7021 and the 7023. I believe there's another couple of ones that I like too, but the 7021 and the 7023 are the ones that really stick out. Do you like the sound of the Southern 3 chime whistle? Absolutely. Least favorite NS rebuild? All rail fans out there will agree with me on this one. The Dash 8.540 CW. Never liked it. The nickel plate or the Reading? I like the nickel plate because of the 765, and their paint schemes were pretty cool. And the Reading was cool because of the B-line service, and it looked really good on the SD45s. Besides Penn Central, least favorite falling flag, I gotta think on that one. It's gotta be the Clinchfield. The Clinchfield was just never my favorite, but I liked them because it's cold country on CSX. CN or CSX has to be Canadian National. So thank you, sir, for your questions. He comes back and says, Brandon Walson comes back with a couple. Do you like the 70 Mac rebuilds on CSX? Oh, yeah, they look good. Favorite pizza chain? Well, Standard Gauge Railroader and I have a little bit of contest when it comes to that. I do like Little Caesars. I also like Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. I love all four of those. Just because they're local, because all of those are actually present where I live, so that's pretty cool. So thank you, sir, for your couple of questions. BNSF Bishop comes in. Glad to see you're back, buddy. Thoughts on the new CSX CM44ACs? Those look good. They've got the Gevo cab on there, and they're just rebuilding the electronics and also doing a few upgrades with PTC as well. So those are pretty cool. Why does VO7 usually have the G's LHF? It's just the way they're in the yard, and that's the way they assemble the train. And sometimes they'll come out cab forward, sometimes it's LHF. I mean, it depends. Do you keep a spreadsheet to keep track of locomotives you see in your rail fan experience? Well, I keep track of the heritage and the special interest locomotives. I do keep track of that. And I'll be going over the ones I've seen in a later video. This is a really good question. I strongly suggest it to all of you rail fans out there that if you see like a heritage unit of a railroad or a special interest locomotive, keep log of what you've seen. And that it's like a little groceries. You check off the ones you've seen, and the ones are left unchecked, the ones you have to see. So that's a really good suggestion. I'm really glad you asked this question. Southern Bell paint scheme or the Great Ghost paint of KCS has to be the Southern Bell. Let's see. Actually, does have a couple more. Excuse me. Favorite locomotive lash up? I like all lash ups of locomotives. Elephant style, back to back, and LHF. So that's pretty cool there. Which looks better? 60E and Heritage through the Dash on W and Steeled for CSX. Steeled for the win. And how was Christmas? It was superbamundo. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Logan DeWiller comes back with some more questions. Glad to see you back, buddy. Favorite heritage on the Wheeling and Lake Erie Railways active locomotive roster? The Rio Grande Heritage Livery. Thoughts on Celadon Truck going bankrupt? I never knew about this one. I did not know that they went under. Thermo King or Carrier refrigerated semi trailers has to be Carrier. Carrier is the best out there. Favorite trucking company that's no longer around? Well, I really don't have a good answer for that. I like a lot of trucking companies. Overnight trucking is one of them. They were taken over by UPS Freight. I do have an answer for that one. So it's overnight trucking. They had some really good drivers. Their slogan is, "Our people make the difference." They were a really good company. Favorite store to shop at? If it's a department store, it's Dillard's. I love the men's department. I also like going to train stores and going to train shows, looking at different model trains and also museums. Conrail Ballast Express C32 or the C39-8s, C39-8s. You think the Santa Fe Warbine should be painted BNSF colors? That answer to that is no. N-O to any Santa Fe locomotive. Because I love the Santa Fe. Painted into BNSF colors is basically a barber school rejack, which means it's just a bad looking paint job is all it's going to be. The Santa Fe Warbines should stay Santa Fe Warbonnets. On the other Wheeling Lake Erie question, favorite locomotive on the Wheeling Lake Erie Railways roster, any EMD. You plan to rail in Ohio in 2020. I have not decided that yet. I don't know what happened to the Conrail Heritage. I don't know what that question's about, so I'm not sure on that one. Now, the SD45-2 or the SD50, I like both of them, but my favorite is the SD45, especially in the N&W's tuxedo with the high hood cab. Marias Pass or the Chillicothe stub, I like both. Chillicothe is on the BNSF Southern Transco, which is the Chicago to Los Angeles main, and Marias Pass because I believe that's on the BN. What is the turbocharger on a train? Can it cause problems with the train if it blows too much smoke? The turbocharger, I'm going to give this to you in a very simple form, that the turbocharger gives the locomotive a little bit more horsepower. It's like extra 500 horses. It actually helps the locomotive during cold starts. It provides a little bit of extra power. Like if it's 3,000 horsepower and a 2,500 horsepower locomotive, the extra 500 comes from the turbocharger. So this is a really cool question. The Sandusky District for NS or the Chicago line, both of which are very active, and I believe it's all on the old Conrail. Do you plan to rail fan the Sandusky's are coming this year or in the new decade? I haven't decided yet. Any Ohio rail fan spots you want to come visit this coming year? Well, I don't know about this coming year, but like Fostoria is one where CSX and NS are there, as well as Berea, Ohio. So that's a couple of spots I would like to rail fan at. So thank you very much for your questions. I'm glad to see you're on the Q&A. Cheers to Railfan Productions comes back. Thank you very much. A couple of questions. Which do you like better, the AC4400 CWs on CSX or the AC44 C6Ms? Basically, those locomotives look almost identical, but the C6Ms to me is the upgraded version of an AC44 CW. What do you think about the ACCs? The ACCs are pretty cool. They actually sound nice when they throttle up. The cab looks pretty cool, and the upgrades on what I have heard has actually been pretty nice. So, thank you, sir, for your questions. Andrew Liam comes back. Great to see you back. Question number one, or which of the passenger commuter railroads do you mostly prefer? Let me take a look at your options. I like New Jersey Transit because they've got the GP40PH-2s. Maryland Area Rail Commuter, or MARC, has some pretty cool fleets. Amtrak is obviously great. And I actually like all four of them, as a matter of fact. So that's a good question there. Favorite type of freight car and passenger car? I like all freight cars because they're different. But I love the superliners on Amtrak as well as the Am fleets. Which of the following flight do you most prefer? The Virginia Railroad, Savannah, Atlanta, and West Point. I have actually never heard of that railroad. Or the Wabash. I like the Virginia because it ran through my hometown at one point. I also like the Wabash because of the famous Cannonball. The Savannah Atlanta was okay, but I've never heard of the Atlanta and West Point. I will definitely do some research on that one. So now you've given me a little something I can research. So thank you for your questions. Stephen KC Railfan comes back. Glad to see you back, buddy. Thoughts on the CP Holiday train? That's a cool train. If you could bring back more N&W class trains, would you do it, and how many would you bring back? Most of the 600 fleet would be nice. Which N&W steel has the better whistle, 611 or 1218? Both of them have nice whistles. You think NS should have a holiday train? It actually would be kind of cool. Scale Trains or Atlas? I gotta say, I've never ordered anything from Scale Trains, but I have a couple of several Atlas pieces. I love Atlas. Taco Bell or Chipotle? Taco Bell for the win, baby. If you could either rail paint either Roanoke or Altoona for a week, what would you choose? I would actually choose both. I would actually do it in 2 weeks. I love Roanoke because it's the heart of the NW, Altoona because it's the heart of the old Pennsylvania. Heritage 1 or Heritage 2 for BNSF, Heritage 1 for the win. Durango and Silverton or the White Pass at Yukon, White Pass at Yukon. That's a cool route. Have you ever caught any huge lash ups? I've seen some lash ups with like 4, 5, 6 units on them. I've even seen a ferry move once before with 9 SD60Ms from CSX that was on Norfolk Southern. So that's pretty cool there. The Erie Lackawanna or the SLSF, St. Louis San Francisco, known as the Frisco. Uh, I liked both of them. You think sheepies have DNA Sioux and Milwaukee Heritage units? Oh yes, definitely. AC44 or the Dash 8, all-time favorite GE, Dash 8 standard cab. You like watching Home Alone 1 or 2? Definitely the first one. Favorite 4-axle GE, I like the U36B, and I also like the B36-7 as well as the B40-8 and the Dash 8W, both the B40-8 standard cab and the wide cab. Have you ever caught the 5642 on NS? Oh yes, I've seen the entire safety train. 60E or the ACC, I like both because they're a little bit different. You think why 6A 2156 should stay in Roanoke or go back to St. Louis? Stay in Roanoke for the win. So thank you for your questions. And that concludes part one. Part two, we'll start with take username. So I will see you in part two.